Well, howdy, partners. It's me, Anime Cynic, here to deliver another dose of quality content. Despite my current head cold, I'm making a video, so please forgive my voice being weird in this one. Today's rant is going to be a confused dive into what Japan calls sports anime. I say it like that because, as we'll see, these anime go so far beyond what any sport is or has ever been that it seems weird to even call them that. A more accurate name for these bad boys would probably be spicy shonen. We'll get into that and more into what I'm calling sports anime, a beautiful mess. It wouldn't be a true Anime Cynic video if I was just laughing at how wild these sports anime shows get. You know I gotta do it to them. So let's get this negativity in first. Ace of the Diamond takes Attack on Titan syndrome and cranks it to 6th gear. If you're not familiar with my trademarked, ultra-copywritten lawyer courtroom saying, Attack on Titan syndrome, let me explain. I use these words to identify one specific issue in anime, pacing whiplash. When a show has wildly inconsistent pacing, it has what I like to call Attack on Titan syndrome. So before watching this anime, be warned that brainwave manipulation may occur, leaving you something like this.
Bring it up and you don't ruin your life. That's where you're at right now, because you done upset me.
One episode, you'll be watching our baseball boys mess around and have fun in practice. Obviously, such an event leads to even deeper bonding. Next episode, we'll not only be in a tournament, but like 8 games into it during the semifinals. Even if we forget about the wild time skipping, when it comes to the actual baseball, we get some strange goings on. If you couldn't infer based on the title, it's an anime focused mainly about pitchers, but basically the opposite of real life pitchers. Pitchers in real life spend years getting their control just perfect so they can throw to all corners of the box at any time. Ace of the Diamond pitchers just yeet that ball at the catcher as hard as they can and hope to not commit a murder by accident. I mean, take our former main character Sawamura. He throws a moving fastball, aka a two-seamer, that he can't control. It moves at random. This guy is the league's worst nightmare. His specialty is a lack of control, so that is going to be a lot of walked batters. Jokes about child ball murder aside though, this anime was one I used to like, but in its later episodes, it's really fallen off. We skip around incoherently, have to put up with filler, and it's hard for even me, someone who's seen all of Season 1, to keep up with all the cuts and changes in Season 2. I don't want you to get the impression that I'm saying this anime is good. I'm not saying that. Ace of the Diamond is a mess in so many ways. I couldn't even do a what I would change on it. That would be a 38-hour video and it'd only get through Arc 1 of Season 2. What Ace of the Diamond has going for it is how tame it is. In fact, a genre specialty is sports anime that are absolutely nothing like sports. So the only purpose of a show like this is as a potential gateway anime for people to get into the actual cool sports shows. Which is a perfect segue into the next anime I want to talk about, Hinomaru Sumo. This anime, my lord. If you happen to watch my video about overrated anime, then you would have heard about my little anime clan. If not, then check the description, I'll link that video down there. But this anime cult I'd started watched this anime together. I can say without hesitation that out of all the anime we watched together, the boys and I did not get more hyped than during this one. Right from episode 1 you know it's different. You think you're getting the typical sports anime thing where someone doesn't look like they can sports, but they can sports in their own way and they earn respect for it. No. Hinomaru is tiny. I mean like really short. If I'm correct, I think he's under 4'9", which in normal life is kind of a yikers, but in Sumo, my god, that's tiny. Until you see him take his shirt off in episode 1 though, and let a martial arts champion punch him in the face for 15 minutes straight. Then once 15 minutes are up, he slams the soul out of this poor albino's body. As if sun sensitivity wasn't enough to deal with, he gets railroaded into another dimension by our titular tiny boy. Also, this anime has some similarities to Demon Slayer actually. One thing I praised Demon Slayer for was using a contrasting art style during fight scenes. Sumo does the same thing. Matches start as just 2 beefy boys hugging and tugging, but then turns into 2 giant demons fighting, bathed in emerald light and fire. In fact, upon rewatching the show for this video, Demon Slayer and Sumo have a lot of visual similarities. Perhaps some of the same people worked on them? I don't know. Let the record show, though, even though Hinomaru Sumo came well before Demon Slayer, I don't think there's any copying at play. I'm not that dumb. Just a happy little accident. I'll take it, though, because both shows' visuals stir something deep within me. Namely, childlike joy over seeing something very cool. Honestly, this probably isn't okay for me to say in this video, especially not when we're going to talk about more anime, but Hinomaru Sumo is my favorite sports anime of all time. I'm well aware of its lackluster ending, and while that knocks some points off for me, it doesn't outweigh the sumo insanity that goes on in the rest of the show. If you haven't seen this anime, please drop everything you're doing and marathon it over a couple days. It's worth faking sick to get out of work or school for, I promise. And if you want to hate on me for outright saying it's my favorite, I understand, and would direct you to the comments below to do so. Now, let's shift gears into an anime that pushes the boundaries of what sports are. By the way, that was a pretty haha comedy because the fighters in this show use prosthetics called gears. I am so sorry. Moving on, if you didn't know from my witty and family-friendly intro to this segment, we're talking about Megalobox. Originally, this slot was filled by Hajime no Ippo, which is my favorite sports anime. I literally owned you before. That was like a ninja smokescreen. Actually, let me explain myself. I don't consider Hajime no Ippo a sports anime. Now, I'm sure this is you right now, but fear not, I'll explain. Hajime no Ippo is disqualified because it shows realistic sports in it. Maybe less so in later installments, but the show was built on realistic training and boxing. And to be a real sports anime, you have to be a 3,000,000% exaggerated version of your sport. Don't understand anything I'm saying? Neither do I. I'm super sick. But sorry, buckaroo, I can't explain what I don't know. Hinomaru favorite Hajime no Ippo no sport. Back to what I was saying before though. Originally, I was going to talk about Hajime no Ippo here, but realized it just isn't a sports anime. Megalobox, however, definitely fits the criteria. It's about boxing in the sense that 50 Shades of Grey is about finding true love. Yeah, maybe you could argue that to me, but also, no, not at all. This anime takes boxing and adds pseudo-mechs to it, these gears that people wear. What I love about this show, though, is while it starts in this absurd place, gradually it becomes more and more about actual boxing, with the final fight of the show taking place between two people who've decided to go back to their roots and fight gearless. However, this anime also had a stupid ending, and unlike Hinomaru Sumo, it doesn't have the fun atmosphere and cool visuals to outweigh that, so heck off, Joe, and take your boxing with you. I thought this anime was going to be amazing. It was touted as the new Cowboy Bebop, but it kind of let me down. Before we move on to our final anime of the video, I'd like to give some honorable mentions. Namely, Haikyuu, Eyeshield 21, Money Pitch, Kuroko's Basketball, and Prince of Tennis, among others. Not you, though. You go back to your hole. Now, there's absolutely some neato sports anime I missed in those mentions, but these are the ones that I'd considered for this video but decided against. Some of them because I wanted to make an entire video talking about how much I dislike them. Others because I just didn't have enough to say or anything interesting to add to the discussion. Maybe I'll do a sports anime part 2 in the future though and do a rapid fire through as many shows as possible. So what's our final anime then, I hear you asking? Well, it's one that really flew under the radar, especially in the country I hail from. All Out. This is an anime about rugby, which in all fairness isn't the most popular sport in the USA, but man is it fun to watch. In my youth, before playing baseball, I wanted to play rugby, but no schools had teams where I grew up, sadly. So I remained a distant fan of the sport until this anime came out and reminded me of how awesome rugby is. No joke, it was because of anime that I started following real-world rugby again. Frankly, I don't have a lot to say about All Out. It's middle of the road for me. Hinomaru Sumo is a good example of an anime that you don't need to follow the sport for. If you don't religiously follow sumo, you can still enjoy that sumo anime. I'm not 100% sure that I can say the same about All Out. It has pretty good visuals. I mean, look at this cool guy. He's in the show. I'd still recommend you watch it though. Maybe this will be the gateway you needed to realize your rugby addiction. One thing I will say is that this is the best rugby anime of all time, so all my scrummers out there, go buck wild on it. What a journey making this video has been. It really evolved over time into something I didn't expect. Sickness not helping. I started working on it as a video talking about how bad Ace of the Diamond has gotten, but it transformed into something else, a celebration of how wild and fun sports anime can be. I think more than anything else in this industry, sports anime are passion projects made by people who love said sport. I've seen a lot of comments and reviews talking about that in a very negative way. People saying that anime are biased towards their sport and show it as if it's way better than other sports. All I can really say is, duh. Of course you're going to make something you dedicated this much time to look awesome and make it look like the best sport ever. Why on earth would you be making the show if you didn't feel this way? Money? Yeah, right, pal. The desire for money has never ruined an anime before. Hopefully this derailed video was still coherent and watchable. Again, I'd like to apologize for being sick. I didn't think it'd be this much of an issue, but I woke up much more sick today than I thought I would. So yeah, I'm sorry for that, but please leave any video suggestions you might have in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching.